Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen and enjoy my stories every day. The clock struck 6 as I exited the bustling cityscape of downtown, where the fading sunlight barely peeked through the skyscrapers. I had decided to surprise Mia, my wife of 5 years, by picking her up from her office, a small gesture to inject some warmth into our lately routine marriage. As I turned the corner onto the familiar street lined with sycamore trees, my heart was light, anticipating her smile. Pulling into her office parking lot, I scanned for her usual spot. There, beneath the dim glow of a street lamp, was Mia's car. But something was off. The vehicle shook subtly, and through the fogged windows, I caught a glimpse of movement. My initial confusion turned to shock as I edged closer, the unmistakable scene unfolding before my eyes. Mia was not alone. In the passenger seat, a man, unknown to me, sat with his head thrown back in pleasure, while my Mia was engaged in an act of betrayal so raw, it gutted me. My breath hitched, heart pounding like a hammer against my ribs, as the truth I never wanted to encounter stared back at me through those steamed-up windows. Frozen, I watched, unable to move, unable to think, until rage replaced shock. Without a sound, I tapped on the window, my knuckles white. The abrupt knock startled them, their guilty faces turning towards me were etched in my memory forever. Mia scrambled, her voice trembling as she opened the door. "Jake, it's not what it looks like. Not what it looks like." My voice was eerily calm, belying the storm wreaking havoc inside me. "I'm not blind, Mia." "Who is he?" The man, now composed, adjusted his tie and shot me a dismissive look. "You should go, buddy. This is none of your business." My fists clenched, but I held back the physical storm he was daring me to unleash. "You've made it my business." Mia stood there, tears streaming down, her makeup smeared, a mess of regret and panic. "Jake, please, let's talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about." The rawness in my voice startled even me. I stepped back, my decision crystallizing with each heartbeat. "You've made your choice, Mia." Turning on my heel, I left them there, the cold bite of the evening air less sharp than the pain coursing through me. The drive home was a blur, each mile adding to the plan formulating in my mind, a plan of revenge, a reckoning for the betrayal that had shattered my trust. Tonight marked the end of our marriage, the demise of the life I thought we were building. Mia would come to understand the depth of my pain, and in turn, the consequences of her actions. I would ensure that this betrayal was not left unanswered. As I entered our now desolate home, the silence was a stark contrast to the chaos of my thoughts. This was only the beginning. The intrigue of what was to come lingered in the air, as heavy as my broken heart. I was determined, Mia and her lover would not get away with shattering my life. They had sparked a fire within me, and I was ready to let it consume everything in its path. The morning light fails to warm the chill that has settled in my bones. I roll out of bed, my actions robotic, fueled by the restless nights spent planning Mia's downfall. I skip the usual coffee, today's bitterness doesn't need enhancing. First on my agenda is securing evidence. If I'm to dismantle Mia's life effectively, I need proof. I head back to her office under the guise of retrieving a forgotten item, but my true mission is to gather any incriminating evidence from her workspace and possibly confront her again, this time with more witnesses. As I navigate the corridors of her office, the familiar receptionist greets me with a puzzled smile. "Morning, Jake. Mia didn't mention you were coming by." I force a strained smile, my heart pounding with adrenaline. "Surprise visit. Could you tell me if Mia's in yet?" She checks her computer. "It looks like she's in a meeting right now in conference room B. Want me to let her know you're here?" "No need," I reply, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. I thank her and make my way towards Mia's office, the silence of the hall echoing my tense footsteps. Reaching her office, I hesitate at the door, my hand on the knob, bracing for what I might find. But it's empty, as expected. I slip inside, scanning the room for any personal items that might belong to the man from last night. My eyes catch on a stack of business cards, and I flip through them hastily, pocketing any that seem out of place or unfamiliar. Suddenly, I hear voices approaching. Panicking, I slide into the small closet adjacent to her office just as the door swings open. Mia's voice, tinged with laughter, fills the room, accompanied by a man's, too familiar from last night's debacle. My grip tightens on the door's edge, anger simmering as their casual banter slices through the thin veneer of my composure. "We should be more careful, you know," the man jokes, his tone light. Mia responds, her voice laced with worry, "Jake doesn't know anything, don't worry. It was just a stupid mistake." "Doesn't know." "Mia, he saw us," he reminds her, and I can almost hear his smirk. "I mean, he doesn't know who you are or anything significant. We'll keep it that way." Their words fuel my resolve. I wait until their footsteps fade before slipping out, the business card of the man, now a key piece in my plan, clutched in my fist. Once home, I sit down at my computer, my mind racing as I plot my next moves. The card leads me to his LinkedIn profile, his professional life displayed proudly. A plan forms, a way to intertwine his downfall with Mia's. I draft anonymous tips to his employer about alleged unethical behavior, attaching fabricated proofs linking him to corporate espionage, enough to cast doubt, enough to ignite an investigation. For Mia, I prepare a detailed email to her boss, outlining an affair with a competitor's employee, threatening the company's integrity. As I set these dominoes, I lean back, the first real smile in days playing on my lips. This is just the beginning, the opening moves in a game they chose to play without knowing I'm the master. Tonight, they sleep unaware of the storm brewing on their horizon. And I, the orchestrator of their undoing, finally find solace in action, each step forward mending the cracks in my shattered trust. This intrigue, this dance of deceit and revenge, has only just begun. The early morning rays do nothing to ease the tension that has knotted my shoulders. Today, I expect the seeds of retribution I planted to start bearing fruit. With every tick of the clock, my anticipation grows, a mixture of dread and satisfaction pulsing through my veins. I keep my phone close, waiting for any alerts or updates. The silence stretches, each second a taunt. Finally, it vibrates. An email notification pops up. The HR department of Mia's lover's company has opened an investigation based on the tips. My lips curl into a grim smile, the first domino falls. Meanwhile, I can't sit still. I decide to go for a walk, needing to clear my head. The streets are busy, people bustling about their days, unaware of the turmoil churning in mine. My phone buzzes again, this time, a friend who works at Mia's company. "Jake, have you heard?" His voice is a mix of concern and curiosity. "Heard what?" I feign ignorance, stopping in my tracks. Mia's been suspended pending an investigation. Something about her having an affair with a rival company's employee. It's all over the office gossip channels. A laugh escapes me, bitter and sharp. No, I hadn't heard. Thanks for the update, though. We hang up, and I continue walking, the reality of Mia's world crumbling fueling my steps. Yet, amidst the satisfaction, a pang of sorrow lingers, the remnants of love not quite extinguished. Upon returning home, I find a voicemail waiting, a panicked message from Mia. Her voice cracks as she pleads for me to call her back, to talk things over. Instead, I delete the message. There's no going back, not after what I've seen. Later in the day, I decide to confront her face to face, to see the impact of her choices reflected in her eyes. I drive to our now former home, where I find her waiting, a shadow of her usual self. "Mia," I start, my voice steady as I open the door. She looks up, hope flickering in her eyes. "Jake, please, let's just talk. I can explain everything." I step inside, closing the door softly behind me. "Explain." "Mia, I saw everything I needed to see. What more is there to say? She steps toward me, her hands reaching out, but I step back. I made a mistake. But we can get past this. We can. Get past this? I interrupt, incredulity lacing my tone. You destroyed us, Mia. There's no us to get back to. Her face crumples, tears streaming down her cheeks. I'm so sorry, Jake. I never wanted to hurt you. You have a funny way of showing it, I reply coldly. Your actions have consequences, Mia. And you're just starting to feel them. Leaving her sobbing in the living room, I walk out, the finality of the door closing echoing through the empty hallways. As I drive away, my resolve hardens. As the day breaks, a chill runs through the air, mirroring the cold resolve in my heart. Today marks the end of this sordid tale, the final act in my orchestrated revenge. With every step I take, I feel the weight of the impending closure, heavy yet satisfying. My preparations are meticulous. I've gathered evidence not just of Mia's infidelity, but of her lover's misdeeds at his company, amplified and twisted by my manipulations. Today, they will not only face personal and professional ruin but public humiliation. First, I arrange for the ultimate reveal. I anonymously tip off a popular local blogger known for covering scandalous city news, providing them with all the salacious details of Mia and her lover's affair, including photos and falsified documents linking them to significant corporate fraud. The promise of such a juicy story ensures it will spread like wildfire. As the morning progresses, the article goes live. I watch as the digital storm engulfs Mia and her lover, their reputations shredded within hours. But the final confrontation is yet to come. I drive to Mia's office where she and her lover are now desperately trying to control the damage. I walk into the building, a sense of grim determination guiding my steps. I find them in the lobby, surrounded by whispered accusations and the scornful eyes of their colleagues. Mia spots me first. Her face drains of color, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and pleading. Her lover, the man who dared tarnish our lives, stands beside her, his posture defensive. Jake, please, we can fix this, Mia stammers as I approach, her voice barely above a whisper. Fix this? I laugh, the sound bitter. You think there's anything left to fix? Her lover steps forward, his tone confrontational. What do you want, man? Haven't you done enough? I stop, my gaze locked on his. I haven't even started. Pulling out my phone, I dial the number I've kept ready. Within seconds, the police arrive, tipped off about the potential corporate crimes. As they step into the lobby, I explain loudly enough for everyone to hear, this man, and Mia, are involved in fraudulent activities. I have proof. I hand over the documents to the police, who proceed to detain them for further questioning. Mia's eyes fill with tears, not just of sadness but of betrayal. Jake, why? She sobs, as the handcuffs click around her wrists. You chose this path, Mia, I reply, my voice steady despite the chaos swirling around us. You betrayed me, and now, you face the consequences. As the police lead them away, the murmurs of the crowd fill the space. I stand there, the cold satisfaction of revenge settling in my bones. I've lost a lot, but I've gained the clarity of justice. Mia and her lover would now understand the full weight of their choices. Leaving the building, I feel the finality of this chapter. They are out of my life forever, taken down by their own deceit and my calculated retribution. The pain of betrayal lingers, but the satisfaction of revenge offers a new beginning. As I walk away, I know this is not just an end, it's a chance to rebuild, free from the shadows of deceit.